money. So today I want to take a step backwards and I want to talk about budgeting. This is a thing that I personally am going through right now, relearning how to use my money appropriately, relearning how to understand money and understand where my money is going. So if this resonates with you, let's go through it. I have a top 10 list here. And now, these are not necessarily in any order, but I wanted to go over 10 ways to budget for your future. So without any delay, let's get into it right now. All right. So, first one here is set clear financial goals. So I started investing 4 years ago, and the thought process was just invest my money, let it grow, retire one day, and that was it. That was the only process I had. So, um, good advice that I've seen around is identify short-term goals. So 3-month to 12-month goals. What are your goals in the next 3 to 12 months? And then also creating long-term goals. So 1 year plus. Financial goals such as paying off debt. Now, debt can be many things. I think the biggest one that's out there right now is probably credit card debt. Saving for a house. This is a big one right now. There's many different ways to save for a house, but this is a long-term goal for a lot of people. The one that I'm primarily focused on is investing for retirement, and it's been going okay so far, and actually better than I thought. I hadn't looked at my RRSP here in Canada. We have something called a registered retirement savings plan, and it was much better than I had looked at, and it had been over a year since I looked at it. So that was good. And this kind of goes towards that clear goals can keep you focused. So I have some clear goals in my future. I've got some short term goals of finishing a course that I'm doing right now in real estate. I want that to be done by December. By the way, I have a test tomorrow. Wish me luck. And then I have some long term goals as well. 10 years from now, I definitely don't want to be working, doing your traditional job. Real estate is going to be something I definitely want to do. And then, spending my winters in Costa Rica. You recommend the place, but these are clear goals. And what's the financial goal to get there? Well, reducing debt, investing properly, which we're going to talk about coming up here. And how am I going to do that short term? How am I going to do that long term? Something for you guys to think about as well. Next one on the list is tracking your income. For most people that are watching this, you do currently have an income, a job. Most people watching this video are from the ages of 19 to 65 years old. So a majority of you have income coming into your house. So how do you track your income? Let's discuss that shortly, but I want you to start calculating the sources of income. Over the years here in the last 4 or 5 years, a lot of side hustles have been coming around. So, DoorDash or Uber Eats, you just being an Uber driver as an example, many, many different side hustles on top of your revenue that you make every single day at your daily job. So grab an Excel sheet and start documenting how much money you're bringing in. Calculate the revenue from all of those side gigs as well, and knowing your exact monthly income sets the foundation to future success. So for me, I have an Excel sheet where I document how much I make from my 9 to 5, and how much I make each month from the dividends I get from my investments. This is helping me set a very stable understanding of where my money is coming from. And the next step in my brain is to find out where that money is going, right? So tracking your income, really, really important. Listing your monthly expenses. This is a huge one. So make a detailed list of fixed rent, utilities, so your fixed expenses like your mortgage, your rent, how much you're paying for each bill. So cable, hydro, gas, water, you name it. If it's a bill that happens every month, put that on your fixed list. Create an Excel file with 2 columns. Make one of the columns fixed so you know every month this money is coming out. The other column, let's make it a variable column. In the variable, these are things that can change every month. So things like groceries, prices of groceries go up, they never go down, but entertainment, right? You gotta go out, you have to live your life. Entertainment, put it in there. That way you can document it and you can live within your means if you're starting to document it because you're going to pay attention to that. So entertainment in there for sure. Knowing where your money goes definitely helps you pay attention to it more, and it can help you identify areas of savings in the future. The next one here, categorize and prioritize. So divide your expenses into two different categories. Picture an Excel sheet here that I'll demonstrate, and you're going to have two different columns. First one is going to be your mandatory spending or your essential spending. So your housing, your bills that you spend in that house. So your hydro, your gas, your phone bill, things like that. Um, you also have your car expenses, gas for the car. These are essential spending for a lot of people. Um, there's also the cell phone bill. Now that's essential for most people, but a lot of us out here want to get that new shiny phone every single year. So maybe that's not the best way of doing it. For me, I try and keep the same phone for 4 years until that battery starts to die, and I just can't take it anymore. So that's gonna be your essential spending, right? Every single month, you know that it's static. That's what you're gonna pay every month. The next one, actually, one more addition to that: food, right? Your food. Now that's not static. That can change every time you go to the grocery store. You're paying a different amount, but at least you're writing down what you have there. You know what some people do is, I don't know if your household's like mine, but we throw a lot of the food away because it goes beyond its due date. So what people do is they actually write down what they've thrown away and how much that costed as well. Costed, new word. How much that cost as well. And then you can take a look at, wow, we spent $100 on groceries, but we threw out $30 worth. Let's do a better job of preparing food at home. Just an idea for sure. So then you have your discretionary spending. These are things like going to the restaurant. Every Friday we go out to the restaurant. Every Tuesday after swimming lessons we go to Subway. These types of things. Now, that is not necessarily an affordable thing to do anymore. Back in the day, fast food was very affordable. Now, it's not. We're talking $15 for a meal at McDonald's. Now, if you take a family of four, you're looking at a $60 bill. Imagine doing that every single week of the month. You're looking at $320 worth of spending that you could have spent elsewhere. Let's talk about subscriptions. What are you currently subscribed to out there? Are you subscribed to Amazon Plus? Amazon Prime. Um, what else? Netflix, Apple TV, Hulu. These are all subscriptions out there. I know for my family, we have Amazon Prime. I haven't watched Amazon Prime in more than 2 months. So that's 2 months at least of spending that I didn't need to do. So if I can write that down in a column, I can see that with my own eyes and make a decision that maybe this is something we can get rid of so we can spend that money elsewhere. Prioritizing necessary costs while limiting your non essential spending is a huge step in budgeting. Next one on my list here is using a rule of division, right? The 50-30-20 rule. Now, before we get into this, these numbers can be changed around a little bit. As long as they equal 100, you're good to go. But what I have here is allocate 50% of your income towards your needs, your spending, what you've just done, your essentials. 50% towards that, 30% to what you want to do with that money, maybe going out with friends or going to the movies, things like that, maybe going golfing, and 20% of that going to either debt or investment. Now, for me, I've changed those numbers around a little bit. And yes, 50% goes towards the essentials of mortgage, car payment, bills, things like that. But I also am doing 20% towards my needs. And sometimes I'm trying to go 10% towards my needs of the money that I'm bringing in from my job. The rest of it is going towards debt and investing. So, like I said, the last 2 months here, my credit card bill has racked up to $8,000. So, first priority for me before I invest any new money is to pay off that debt. Credit card debt is insane. 19% is not something that I want to mess with. And for me, I'm going to do whatever I can to get that credit card paid off as quickly as possible. For you, it could take many months. And a lot of people do the minimum payment on credit cards. And then they go out in this 50-30-20 rule. They spend more money on the things they want to do, adding to that credit card bill in the future. So for me, I'm spending on that 20%. I'm actually at a 30 or even 40% of it is going towards debt repayment as well as investing. So anything that I have left over after I've paid off these credit cards will go straight to investing. For me, I have a financial goal, and that goal is to retire as quickly as possible. And the only way I'm going to get there is if I have a structure in my life. Number 6 on my list is very similar to the last one, but it's so important. We got to cut that unnecessary spending. Remember, your original thing to do is create that short term goal, the long term goal. How are you going to reach these goals if you keep doing the same thing you're doing right now? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So, number 6 on my list is cut the unnecessary spending. Review your variable expenses and for areas that you want to reduce or that you can reduce your spending, such as cutting unused subscriptions. There's that Amazon Prime for me. Going to McDonald's less, taking yourself home to eat meals that you've prepared will save you a ton of money. I know for me that is a big one, and I know for you too that you most likely are spending your money on that too. This is an easy way for us to save money, and something to think about. Here's another one: re investigate your spending when it comes to insurance, right? Reevaluate what you're spending on insurance. Call around every year. See if you can find a better rate for yourself rather than just going with the same company every single month. Again, the cell phone, there's so many people out here that need to get a new phone every year or 2 years. And I get it. You want to have that new gadget. That's one of those things that bring you joy in life, but is there really a big difference from year to year? With Apple, there's not, but with other ones, maybe there is. And I know I probably just hurt some people's feelings. I'm sorry about that, but that's just one way and just an example of a way to save money and not spend money, right? And again, I want you to always go back to what's my goal. Every time you're out there spending money, I want you to think, what is my goal? Um, all right, fantastic. So that's going to be number 6. Let's move on to number 7. Number 7 on my list is probably my favorite because I feel it's just so difficult to do, but so easy. I don't know if that makes sense. Let me just explain it to you. You tell me if it makes sense to you the way I just said that. So my favorite thing in here is setting up automatic investments or automatic savings, right? So take your money that you get paid and automatically reinvest it every single pay. So I want to give you an example. 2 weeks ago, I didn't really know how much I had in my company RRSP. This is a fund where I take 7% of my earnings automatically and invest it in. My company takes 3%, that's their top matching amount, and they invest it every single 2 weeks. And so that 7% comes off my pay prior to taxes. So it's pretty awesome. And I have to be perfectly honest with you. I've been doing this for 11 years now, and I didn't realize how little that affected my bi-weekly paycheck by taking that amount off, which is really great. But what's really even better is that I have an amount of money in there that I'm going to be very satisfied if I had to work for the next 20 years. I'm going to be very satisfied to retire on. And I had to do nothing with that investment. I automatically set it up with this RRSP, which is a Canadian thing. Stands for Registered Retirement Savings Plan. And that money just comes out every 2 weeks and goes straight in there and gets invested. And then I see the growth. Let me put this into perspective for you. The last time I looked at it was almost a year ago. Well, in the last year, it's doubled. And I had to do nothing other than go to work every day and have that money automatically invested in the fund. So setting up automatic transfers to your portfolio, to your investment portfolios is a great idea. If you're watching this channel, you probably already invest a little bit and you have a good idea. But if you're new to investing, it's better to get a financial advisor who can advise you on what to do with your money, right? Say, Bob, I want to go ahead and invest 10% from every pay. Find out what 10% is. If you make $2,000 every 2 weeks, automatically give $200 to Bob to invest, but make sure you're paying attention to it. Make sure that's the right investment for you and make sure Bob's asking you the right questions before Bob invests your money. Consistency here is key. Consistently adding to your portfolio every single month over time will add to that snowball effect of making your money grow and grow and grow as you compound that money inside of there. So making your money work for you instead of you working for your money is just an incredible way. So setting up automatic transfers or automatic payments into investing portfolios is a surefire way to increase your net value. Number 8 on the list, and again, these don't really have an order to them too much, but I like this one. It's talking about setting up an emergency fund. So this is a really important thing. Lately, the economy has been going up and down like a yo-yo. And so when the economy goes up and down, there's fear of recession. What happens during recession? Well, people lose their jobs. And if you lose your job, do you have a financial backing right now that can support you for 3, 6, even 12 months? I bet you a lot of us watching may not have that. If you do, that's awesome. But if you don't, hear this, right? Every single pay, you're automatically putting money into your investing portfolio. Why not take 10% and put it into a savings account over here on the side that you never look at that will just sit there? And if you can find a, what do they call the high valued savings account that does provide a little bit of interest, then that's a bonus for you. But what you would want to do is grow that. So that's 3, 6, even 12 months enough for you to be able to live off. This is massive. And it's such a it just feels good to have that money sitting there for the just in case. Okay? So this is a big one. A lot of people don't have it, including myself. I don't have one separately. Side. I just have all that extra money in an investing account where I could pull from, but I don't want to. So taking 10% every pay and putting it into a high valued savings account that will pay me interest is a great idea. I actually just recently signed up to Interactive Brokers where they're touting that they give out 4.89% interest if you have your money sitting in one of their accounts. It's almost 5% interest. That's not a bad idea just to kind of let your extra money sit there and develop a small amount of interest every single month. By the way, if you're enjoying the content, hit the like button down below. I'd love to see you as a subscriber. I've also set up memberships here with 3 different levels of membership. If you're looking to support this channel in any way, liking, subscribing, hitting that membership, and joining the team with the memberships there, they do have some advantages to them. And make sure you read through them first to see which one's the best option for you. Option A is $1.99 a month, which is less than a cup of coffee, but it can bring you some benefits. Option B, $4.99 a month, less than 2 cups of coffee a month. And then option C is going to be $29.99. And this is a premium option where you get to choose the type of videos I create, as well as some live sessions, just us here on YouTube. All right. So let's move on. Let's talk about our next one here. And I'm just going to pull up my screen to take a look at my notes here. Yes. I like this one a lot. And actually, if you watch this whole video, you'll be thinking, but Mike, you didn't do this. review regularly, right? So not only are you reviewing your columns in your Excel file. I pulled up a Google Sheets here. It's totally free on the internet. Type in Google Sheets to create Excel. But review your finances. Let's go to the top of my list up here. And the top of my list says set clear financial goals. So identify short term and long term. Well, let's review them. Every 3 months, go review your short term goals. How well have you managed your money in the last 3 months? Do that every 3 months, because once you start thinking about how am I doing, you're going to do better. It's just the way it goes. Okay. Tracking your income. How am I doing tracking my income? Every single month, if I track my income, what am I doing? What am I doing well? What do I need to improve on? So these are going to be your steps here, right? So review and adjust your budget regularly is such an important thing for sure. So remember, guys, stick to your plan. Create a plan first of all, but stick to your plan. Stay disciplined by sticking to that budget. For me, I have not gone to McDonald's for over 2 weeks now, and that includes me driving by it every single day when I come home from the gym and I don't want to make food in the morning. So I'm very proud of that. I've avoided that impulse purchase. Another one is, if you go to the mall, I like this one a lot. I used to go to the mall all the time and buy things I didn't need, but there's nothing inside that mall that I need. And in 5 years from now, if I go to the mall and I buy something from the mall, am I gonna look at that in 5 years and say, "Yeah, that was a great purchase"? Probably not. So for me, I stay away from malls. But, I definitely wanna reward myself, my family, and we do go out for dinner sometimes, but, we wanna stay disciplined. We wanna stay motivated towards our financial freedom and our goals. For me, that final goal is to retire and be able to afford life, on a beach in Costa Rica. So, guys, by following these steps, you've now created a solid plan to manage your investments, your money, and you've also developed ways to save money for your future. And also, you've developed ways to set up goals to protect yourself and make yourself more financially free. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the like button. I really appreciate you stopping by. And I want to just say thanks so much for tuning in to Health and Wealth. Bye for now.